It is a brisk, windy day here in Vancouver, British Columbia. And in today's video, I wanted to dive into a trade that shook the hockey world 10 years ago, featuring some Montreal and Nashville Predator defenseman legends. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do a retrospective 10 years later look at the PK Subban and Shea Weber trade, and take a time to show off our Hockey Ultimate Team MSP custom hockey cards in the process. Now, let's start things out by talking about Shea Weber over here. Shea, this is his NHL 24 Team Builders Nashville Predators MSP out of Hockey Ultimate Team. And this is just such a beautiful card. 96 overall, you've got the really nice profile of Shea Weber on there. Captain of the Nashville Predators, he formed a deadly duo with Ryan Suter. And I just love the creativity that the NHL team put behind these team builder cards. You've got all the puzzle pieces falling into place. You've got the kind of shine to the design itself. Obviously, I printed these on my own time, so there's a little bit of a gloss internally already, but the cardstock is pretty thick. I love the way this card came out. NHL 24 Shea Weber Team Builders from the Nashville Predators. While it's true, Weber never won a Norris Trophy as a member of the Preds, he is a guy that was in the conversation. He was nominated 3 times as a member of the Nashville Predators, known for his stout defensive shutdown play, his stellar shot blocking, and of course, his cannon, his howitzer of a slap shot himself. Not to mention his prowess for Team Canada at the Olympics, his gold medal, and his leadership qualities. Shea Weber was a quiet guy, but he was a pure leader type of guy. You talk about the 2010s mold of a Canadian captain with Crosby, Taves. Weber was right in there, and you could say that his leadership was amongst the best of the best. Which is why, when Shea Weber was traded to the Montreal Canadiens in a big move for one PK Subban, it was seen as a pretty interesting move. Now, Subban, he did win the Norris Trophy at some point in his career. That shortened 2012-13 season saw PK almost produce at a point-per-game clip, and he ended up winning the Defenseman of the Year. This right here is PK's NHL 22 MSP for Hockey Ultimate Team. This was a part of the Hot Moments event that they provided back in that day. The Hot Moments cards featured a whole bunch of TVs and moments of the player in the background. You can see PK celebrating a goal that he had scored against the Boston Bruins on May 1st, 2014. That's what the card depicts over here. It's a really beautiful image. You can kind of see PK on the ice with the TVs behind him shining and getting a big shadow on the profile of the player himself. It's kind of like a Hot Moments, let's rewind into the past type of thing. But this PK card was 96 overall back in the day as well. You can see his stats from the NHL 22 video game. 6 feet, 210, right-handed guy. And I don't think, was he 31 at that time frame? Yeah, he was. He was 31 at the time NHL 22 came about. But PK Subban was a guy that it was quite apparent a lot of Montreal Canadiens players and executives didn't really like him all too much. He had a big personality. He was a fan favorite, but maybe not necessarily a locker room favorite. And the Canadiens, they wanted to get rid of Subban despite saying that they weren't going to trade him. Marc Bergevin pulled the trigger to get this trade done. Subban for Weber, 1-for-1. And it was seen as a pretty questionable move at the time because Subban was older and he just didn't have the same dynamism to his game that PK did. Nevertheless, both teams ended up going to the Stanley Cup Finals with these defensemen in short order. The Nashville Predators made the finals and lost to the Pittsburgh Penguins with PK as a part of a stellar top 4. Him, Roman Josi, Ryan Ellis, and Matthias Ekholm made for one of the best top 4s in hockey. And then Shea Weber, a few years later, made the Montreal Canadiens Stanley Cup finalists in 2021 as he suited up alongside of Joel Edmondson, Ben Sherratt, Jeff Petrie, and other behemoths on the back end in the Habs system. Two different players, two very different styles despite being right-handed defensemen, and two guys that were able to carry Nashville and Montreal to greater heights and Stanley Cup Finals appearances years after the trade. Shea Weber finished off his career with the Arizona Coyotes, I'm pretty sure. His contract got sent over there. Obviously, he was the captain of Montreal. And PK, despite not winning any more Norrises after his days in Montreal, still established himself as a really great color analyst on ESPN after finishing his career with the New Jersey Devils. So with all that said, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about this one-for-one trade, Subban for Weber 10 years after the fact? What are your thoughts on these hockey cards right here? These Hockey Ultimate Team MSPs, the team builders, and the hot moments from different NHL video games. I thought this would be a great opportunity for us to showcase the cards that we made as well as the story. But this has been Ice Hockey POV. Let me know what other hockey memorabilia pieces you want us to check out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.